Okay, you guys, let's get into it though, because there's a big elephant in the room that we have to address. And
oh boy,
obviously a huge chunk of last night's episode dealt with not only Katie, but Thomas, and the fact that many men, went to Katie with their concerns about him admitting that, yes, he came here for a platform and has considered being the Bachelor. I guess I'm confused because, playing to your point earlier, I, as a lead, would want to know that, definitely. But I've been thinking about this over and over, and it's like, what actually constitutes as a villain, quote unquote, a villain on the show? Because last season, we saw somebody who was labeled as a villain who actually said some terrible things, like
right.
the word whore and sluts and hoes were being thrown around. And that was all obviously caught and portrayed to the group of women. And that was offensive. And I'm not condoning what Thomas went there for. I'm not saying, oh, it's okay that he said he wanted to be the Bachelor. That is not what I'm getting at. But he was directly asked, have you considered being the Bachelor after all of this? And he did answer honestly, which, as we see, got him into a load of trouble.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, there are things that come off of this show that everyone's aware about. Obviously, after each season, somebody is going to become the next Bachelor and Bachelorette. People are going to become influencers. People are going to be promoting brands and traveling and doing all these things. And it's interesting to me to see how extreme and heightened this was for saying that. And I'm not saying it shouldn't have been a topic of conversation. It definitely should have been. It definitely should have been brought to Katie's attention. But my issue is because I take notes every time I, watch each episode and listen back. I have an issue with not only the amount of times that manipulative, the term manipulative was thrown around, but Thomas was called a psycho and cancer. And for me as a viewer, you are now calling this man, you're basically putting this man on a Ted Bundy level and calling him cancer for something that actually is
when people say that.
Exactly. I'm sorry, everyone. Cancer took my dad away from me. Cancer took people I loved away from me. And so I have such a problem with men and women on this show spewing out certain words and terms and phrases that perpetuate this cycle of hate and drama to an extent that doesn't need to be as extreme as I think it is. And that's what I have an issue with is should Thomas have maybe gone home? Yes. Did Katie handle things properly? Yes. But the conversation around it to me feels so disconnected for what actually took place. And that's where I'm struggling with. So that's why I'm happy I have you to talk through this and maybe give me more insight if you know anything, because
well, I think it's I'm actually so happy you brought this up, because I don't think in the setting, people think the magnitude that those words hold and how it's actually going to affect long term.
Somebody else's life.
Because people actually take these words, whoever watched the episode and oh my God, that guy is cancer. And that is what they associate that person being in their mind for years to come. And it's just because that word was just said. I hate it when people just say words about people without thinking and without just being selfish.
Right.
They could just say he is not here for the right reasons. He's being, I don't know, manipulative. Okay, well, the thing is, he was being a little bit manipulative with the guys and how he was talking. But something like cancer or a psychopath, or what was it?
Yeah, psycho.
Sorry, a psycho. Right. Those are just words that are just learn some more. We need some new vocab. Learn a little bit more.
Well, and that's my problem. Again, I'm not condoning his behavior. Right. I don't want people to be oh my gosh, Becca, whatever it might be. But I'm just saying, when we perpetuate things, at the end of the day, what he did was shitty. What he said wasn't great. And if I was the lead, I would 100% question his motives and probably let him go as well. But when people use certain phrases and continue this narrative for something that now seems so extreme that really isn't,
it's not in the grand scheme of things. It is not. But I agree. I will say I wish I could give more insight, but like I truly was there for Katie and like was only brought in when she needed it or if like hosting a date and whatnot. So I wasn't there like in the group chats of like really listening to the guys 24/7.
Yeah.
Which I kind of wish I was, but also at the same time, again, it is Katie's journey. I never wanted to be like, so this guy said this and this is this. You know what I mean? It just takes away from her.
Yeah.
But what I did see was, I mean, the guys had very strong feelings about him. And what I mean, like, even at like the big buckle brawl, like Katie even noticed it then. Like all of the guys were on one side and then there was Thomas. Like nobody was actually associating or talking to him. There was just like little things that I picked up on that clearly, I don't know, just the way that he was handling things in the house. Like he was really rubbing people the wrong way. And personally for me, I didn't hear any of those words or see any other actions but that, except for what Katie told me and what the guys were saying. So I wish I could shine more light on that. But
no, and I think you were the best. Like Katie needed you in that moment. Your focus was her, and I think you have done a great job about that. I guess my main takeaway from all of this is like at the end of the day, this is a show, and people can say and do anything, good or bad, and the viewers will have their opinions. But also, please, to everyone listening, remember, we are all humans. We all make mistakes. No one is perfect. And you're only seeing a very, very small sampling of what actually took place 24/7 in the house with everyone. And so things seem heightened and extreme in the moment. And when you add in like all the comments and like the music, it's a lot. Like it's a lot to take in. And it seems like maybe overly hyped at times. But at the end of the day, like, I just want to, like, there are villains on the show, like, quote unquote villains. And then there are people who just, maybe it was just a slow news week and they needed to be the punching bag. I don't know. But yeah. Oh, sorry, keep going.
No, I was going to say, like, it's like, yeah, sometimes people do things really shady. Like, I think that people should be held accountable for that. But I don't think that people should be, like,
labeled
I don't know, made
certain things.
Like the labels is what I have an issue with.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. So let's all, I think in the next seasons, let's all get a nice little thesaurus, find some better words to describe people.
What? We should leave thesauruses by everyone's bedstand and then they can utilize those.
I like this. I like this idea.